think you know hip-hop beefs? Everyone talks about 50 Cent, the man who turned rivalries into a blockbuster franchise. But what about the lyrical wars that never made it to your mainstream radar? The ones that left permanent scars on reputations, reshaped entire regions of rap, and proved that a single bar could end a career? Get ready, because we're diving deep into the forgotten and overlooked battles that show the true, unfiltered DNA of hip-hop competition. This isn't about the headlines you've always heard. This is about the disses whispered in mixtape circles, the tracks that traveled hand to hand, and the verses that defined eras completely beyond Curtis Jackson's shadow. To find additional stories and untold timelines of the biggest celebrity feuds, scandals, and partnerships, don't forget to subscribe to Timelines Unlocked, your front row seat to the drama behind the stars. Let's set the time machine to the late 90s, a golden era where lyrical skill was the ultimate currency. LL Cool J, a titan of the genre and one of its first superstars, decided to create a posse cut called 4-3-2-1. On it, he featured a hungry, fiercely technical new lyricist named Canibus. Canibus, wanting to pay homage, wrote a line about borrowing the mic tattoo on LL's arm. In the studio, LL heard the line and interpreted it not as respect, but as a challenge. He told Canibus to remove it, then recorded his own verse directly dissing the young MC on the very same track. When the song dropped, Canibus was blindsided, but he didn't just get mad. He got even. He unleashed Second Round KO, a diss track so surgically precise and overwhelmingly aggressive that it sent shockwaves through the industry. With boxing legend Mike Tyson providing the intro, Canibus dismantled LL's legacy, questioned his credibility, and attacked him with a barrage of complex, multi-syllable rhymes. LL, a seasoned battle veteran himself, fired back with The Ripper Strikes Back, a ferocious response where he questioned Canibus's authenticity. The battle divided fans and critics alike, becoming a landmark feud that pitted the established old guard against the ambitious new generation in a pure test of lyrical warfare. Now let's move a few years earlier to the mid-90s when tensions between the East and West Coasts were at a fever pitch. A thoughtful, poetic rapper from Chicago named Common released a masterpiece called I Used to Love HER. In it, he used the metaphor of a woman to describe his love for hip-hop and how he felt she was losing her way by becoming overly commercialized and gang-focused. While it was a brilliant piece of social commentary, many on the West Coast, particularly Ice Cube and his supergroup West Side Connection, took it as a direct shot at their style of rap. They responded with the brutally aggressive track West Side Slaughterhouse, calling out Common by name and threatening him. The industry held its breath. Common was known for conscious, introspective music, not street battles. But his response, The Bitch in You, was nothing short of a lyrical atom bomb. Over a Pete Rock beat, Common shed his peaceful persona and delivered one of the most articulate, cutting, and personal dices in history, dissecting Ice Cube's career from NWA member to a perceived Hollywood sellout. It was a stunning display of lyrical dexterity that proved even the most profound poets could be vicious warriors when provoked, turning a regional dispute into a timeless lesson on artistic integrity. While coasts were at war, an equally intense battle was brewing in the heart of New York City, this time for the throne of Queen Bee. Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown emerged around the same time, both mentored by hip-hop royalty, Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z respectively. They were both beautiful, sharp-tongued, and unapologetically raw. Initially friends, the pressure of a male-dominated industry that seemed to believe there was only room for one top female rapper quickly turned them into bitter rivals. Their beef wasn't waged in one or two major diss tracks, but through a long, cold war of subliminal shots, interview jabs, and verses on other artists' songs. Foxy would throw darts on tracks like Capone and Noriaga's Bang Bang. and Kim would fire back on her own albums. The feud became so personal, it allegedly spilled over into physical altercations between their entourages. This wasn't just about rap, it was a battle for identity, fashion, and influence, fueled by record labels and media, who relished the drama. It highlighted the impossible standards female artists were held to, forced into a gladiatorial contest while their male counterparts could coexist more freely. Let's travel down south, to an era when Atlanta was fighting for its own identity in the hip-hop landscape. Master P and his New Orleans-based No Limit Records had built an empire, dominating the charts with a relentless flood of albums. But in Georgia, a raw, high-energy artist named Pastor Troy was carving out his own lane. He felt that Master P's crew was disrespecting Atlanta and claiming a Southern crown they hadn't earned. So, Troy declared war with his track No Mo Play in GA. This wasn't a slick subliminal diss, it was a visceral, street-level call to arms. It was a regional anthem that challenged the entire No Limit movement. The beef that followed was a clash of titans for the soul of the South. It was a fight for respect, a declaration that Atlanta was not to be overlooked. Pastor Troy's unapologetic defense of his home turf became a rallying cry and helped solidify Atlanta's position as a future superpower in hip-hop, proving that sometimes a beef is bigger than two artists. It's about putting a whole city on the map. Finally, we head to Detroit for a conflict that was less about supremacy and more about brotherhood and betrayal. Royce Dia 5'9" and the group D12 were both close affiliates of Eminem, part of a tight-knit circle destined to take over the industry. But as Eminem's star ascended, tension simmered. Misunderstandings, industry politics, and personal egos created a deep rift between Royce and the members of D12, particularly Proof. The friendship fractured, and the fallout was a bitter, deeply personal war of words. Royce dropped scathing tracks like Malcolm X, while D12 fired back with songs like Pour Smack Down. Because they were all once friends, the insults were incredibly specific and painful, exposing private grievances to the world. This wasn't a manufactured beef for sales, it was a genuine, messy divorce between artists who once considered each other family. It stands as a cautionary tale of how fame and business can destroy even the strongest bonds, making it one of hip-hop's most tragic and emotionally charged rivalries. When you assemble these stories, the real picture of hip-hop's competitive spirit becomes clear. It's a culture forged in battle, where respect is the ultimate prize. These feuds were more than just entertainment. They were crucibles that tested artists' skills, loyalty, and courage. They were debates about the direction of the genre, fights for regional pride, and struggles for personal identity. Each diss track is a time capsule, a snapshot of an era defined by ambition and a relentless desire to be the best. They are the foundation upon which the legends and the rivalries of today were built. So the next time you think of rap beef, remember to look beyond the massive shadow cast by 50 Cent. Remember the technical brilliance of Canibus versus LL Cool J, the ideological clash of Common and Ice Cube, the heartbreaking civil war in Detroit, the fight for a queen's crown between Kim and Foxy, and Pastor Troy's defiant stand for the South. These are the battles that truly shaped the art form, proving that in hip-hop, a sharp mind and a vicious pen will always be the most dangerous weapons. Now I want to hear from you. What's the most underrated diss track of all time? The one you think deserves more recognition? Was it one we mentioned? Or is there a deeper cut that only the true heads know about? Drop your answer in the comments below. Hit that like button if you learned something new today, and make sure you subscribe for more deep dives into the untold stories that defined our favorite stars. This is Timelines Unlocked, where every legend has a history,